Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News. I'm Tracy Shilshi, and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you through what you can look forward to in the day ahead as far as the news is concerned. Let's start with the headlines. 10 people killed in Tamil Nadu following Cyclone Varda. Huge loss to property, though air services have resumed in Chennai. In Andhra Pradesh, 2 people are missing while Kerala is on alert. It's the 15th anniversary of the deadly Parliament attack. The nation remembers the martyrs who stopped terrorists from entering Parliament House building. MPs to pay tributes to the brave hearts. .75% discount on petrol and diesel introduced for purchase using digital payment. The discounts to be given in form of cashback. Antonio Guterres has been sworn in as the 9th United Nations Secretary General, pledges to reposition development at the center of the organization's work. And Pankaj Advani wins his 11th World Billiards Championships title, defeats Peter Gilchrist of Singapore in the summit clash in Bengaluru. Cyclone Varda weakened into a deep depression and lay centered at about 25 kilometers southeast of Vellore and 60 kilometers east-northeast of Tirupattur late on Monday night. The cyclonic storm is likely to move west-southwest now and weaken gradually into a depression during the next 12 hours. Meanwhile, life is limping back to normal in a way of sorts in Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, where Varda wreaked havoc on Monday, killing at least 10 people in Tamil Nadu. Air services to Chennai also resumed a while back after being remained suspended for the entire day on Monday.
Cyclone Varda battered the coastal regions of the state and Andhra Pradesh with wind speeds of up to 140 kilometers per hour. The most intensive cyclone to hit Chennai in 2 decades made landfall 15 kilometers from the capital between 2:30 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. on Monday, flattening homes, snapping communication lines and leaving public transport in chaos. Nearly 20,000 people were evacuated from low-lying areas as a precautionary measure to temporary relief shelters as coastal regions of Chennai, Tiruvallur and Kanchipuram continued to be on high alert. 6 teams of the National Disaster Response Force and 4 of the State Disaster Response Force are engaged in rescue efforts.
In Tamil Nadu, we have deployed 7 teams. So all 6 teams are deployed in this Andhra Pradesh area. And our 2 teams is deployed in Solurpeta because it is very crucial that we are deployed here, and we are completely in standby position, and we are completely in condition to handle the situation.
Rescue and search operations continue after 2 fishermen were reported to be missing off the Andhra coast in Kakinada district. No major loss of life or property was reported from the state even as heavy rains lashed Nellore and Chittoor districts. 4 districts of Andhra Pradesh continue to be on high alert as heavy rains are expected on Tuesday. More than 9,000 people were removed to relief camps. People of Puducherry heaved a sigh of relief as Varda passed off without causing any destruction. Mild showers, however, continued through the day on Monday. Kerala has been put on alert and the State Disaster Management Authority is monitoring the situation. According to the Indian Meteorological Department, heavy rainfall warning has been sounded off in North Tamil Nadu for the next 24 hours. Heavy to very heavy rainfall is also likely over Nellore, Kadapa and Chittoor districts of Andhra Pradesh during the next 12 hours. Cyclone Varda will reach Karnataka on Tuesday and pass over South Goa on Wednesday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Keep an eye out for developments there. Meanwhile, today also marks the 15th anniversary of the Parliament attack. The nation pays homage today to the martyrs who sacrificed their lives while defending Parliament House in the dastardly attack on this day in 2001. Leaders of different political parties and MPs will pay floral tributes to the martyrs at the plaque in Parliament House. 2 persons from Parliament Security Service of Rajya Sabha, 5 Delhi police personnel and a woman constable of the CRPF laid down their lives while preventing the entry of terrorists inside the Parliament House building. A gardener of CPWD also lost his life in the attack. In other news, India and Indonesia signed 3 agreements to boost security and defense ties between the 2 nations. This was after Prime Minister Modi held delegation-level talks with the visiting Indonesian President Joko Widodo. Combating terrorism and economic partnership remain the major focus of the meetings. Widodo is in Delhi on a two-day visit to India. It's his first after assuming power in October 2014.
Combating terrorism topped the agenda in the talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Indonesian President Joko Widodo on Monday. In a joint media address with visiting Indonesian President, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India and Indonesia have agreed to give top priority to their defense and security ties in order to jointly tackle terrorism and organized crime.
We agreed to prioritize defense and security cooperation. Two important maritime nations that are also neighbors, we agreed to cooperate to ensure the safety and security of the sea lanes in disaster response and environmental protection. The joint statement on maritime cooperation outlines the agenda of our engagement in this field.
The Prime Minister also asserted that the two nations share the value of democracy, diversity and social harmony and have nurtured strong bonds of business and culture. On his part, Widodo said Indonesia wanted to increase bilateral trade ties and diversify exports to India.
Indonesia also wishes to diversify its export products to India. We also discussed effort to increase investment cooperation. Indonesia invites India to increase investment cooperation in pharmaceutical, IT, and automotive.
The issue of South China Sea figured prominently in talks between the two leaders. In a veiled message to Beijing, both sides asserted that the dispute must be resolved through peaceful means and without resorting to threat or use of force. Indonesia and India signed 3 agreements after delegation-level talks at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. A memorandum of understanding was signed on cooperation in the area of youth and sports, while another was signed in cooperation in the area of standardization. Also, President Widodo's visit to India comes amid the launch of the first direct air services between the two countries. The non-stop maiden flight of Indonesian flag carrier Garuda Indonesia landed at the Mumbai International Airport on Monday evening. The flight will initially be for 3 days per week and later would be made daily. Prime Minister Modi and Indonesian President Widodo welcomed the move and also encouraged direct flights from India to Indonesia in their joint statement. The visiting president called on his Indian counterpart Pranab Mukherjee at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari also met the visiting dignitary. Widodo is on a 2-day visit to India.
The biggest Muslim nation and largest economy in ASEAN, Indonesia is strategically located in Asia-Pacific region. It will be interesting to see that how relations between India and Indonesia grows at the time where radicalization is also taking place very fast in Indonesia. Akhilesh Soman for Rajya Television with camera person Pusanta in Delhi.
And now let's take a look at the demonetization move and the after effects that we are seeing across the country. Well, a discount of 0.75% on petrol and diesel has been introduced from midnight on fuel purchases made using digital payment. The discount is applicable from today and would be by way of cashback, which will be credited to the buyer's account in 3 days from the transaction. The 0.75% discount on payments made using either credit or debit cards, e-wallets or mobile wallets will translate into a rebate of 49 paise a litre on petrol and 41 paise on diesel. Petrol is currently sold at 66 rupees 10 paise per litre in Delhi, while a litre of diesel costs 54 rupees 57 paise. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley had last week announced a raft of measures including discounts on online payments for insurance policies, rail tickets and highway toll charges as the government looked to promote digital cash post-demonetization. Now, the steel city of Odisha, Rourkela, has a thriving transport industry employing thousands of people. No wonder then that demonetization has hit not only the industry very hard, but also those who rely on it for their living. Rajya Sabha TV is taking a close look at the problems being faced by the people, and here's one story from there.
The steel plant and iron ore mines around Rourkela have given birth to a robust transport business in the city. It is an important component of Odisha's economy, both in terms of business and employment. But the note ban has hit business hard.
मैंने 1500 बंद होने बहुत सा असर है। देखिए हम लोग अपने जैसे गाड़ी हम लोग लोड करते हैं, पार्टी भी बोलती है कि हम अभी कैश पेमेंट नहीं करेंगे, चेक पेमेंट करेंगे। किंतु अगर हम लोड करने का लेआउट करेंगे, यहाँ से जो गाड़ी जाएगी उसके लिए फ्यूल चाहिए, ड्राइवर खर्चा चाहिए, वो कहाँ से आएगा?
Although transporters are not opposed to cashless transactions, they believe it will be a long time coming.
अगर ये डिसीजन थोड़ा अगर ठहर के लेते तो सबको पता चलता तो गाड़ी घोड़ा जितना बाहर में है वो लोगों को दिक्कत नहीं होता। ये भी मान लीजिए हम लोगों ने गाड़ी भेज दिए थोड़ा दूर 400-500 किलोमीटर, हम लोगों को तो पता नहीं था जब 500,000 बंद रहेगा और ड्राइवर लोग तो चिल्लर लेके जाता नहीं, कहीं पर तेल भरने के लिए समस्या, कहीं पर टायर पंक्चर बनाने के लिए समस्या, कहीं पर खाने के लिए समस्या। मोटा नोट में जब चलेगा नहीं तो होटल वाला लेता नहीं, टायर वाला लेता नहीं, गाड़ी ब्रेकडाउन हो गया।
Owners of big transport businesses are managing to hold their own in these difficult times, but the small transporter has been left in a quandary.
धंधा पानी में एकदम हम लोग का मंदा चल रहा है। हफ्ता दिन हो जाता है, 10 दिन बहुनी पाफत हो जाता है गाड़ी पैसे के चलते। अब अल्लाह जाने आगे क्या होता है, पैसा आएगा नहीं आएगा उसके बारे में तो मोदी जी बताएं या देश के लोग बताएंगे।
मेरा काम धाम तो असर तो बहुत हुआ है। जैसे कि मेरा एक तो गाड़ी है, जैसे कि मेरा किसी तो बहुत है, लेकिन अगला महीना जो नोटबंदी का चलते बंद हुआ था, कलकत्ता भेजे थे 14 रोज खड़ा हुआ था, आया तो बचा तो क्या बचेगा उसमें तो किस्त भी नहीं निकला मेरा अगला महीना।
The currency crunch and hoarding of new notes is not helping matters either.
भैया पब्लिक हम लोग कतार में खड़े हैं, तो पब्लिक को 200 रुपया नहीं मिल रहा है, हैं? और 10 लाख रुपया ब्लैक हो जा रहा है। मेरा इतना कहना मतलब कैसे कारण से ब्लैक होता है, कहाँ से लीकेज होता है?
जो हॉस्पिटल में पैसा देने के लिए जो है मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, वहाँ जाने से जो है 2000 रुपया देता है और लग रहा है 8000 10,000 रुपया। 2000 रुपया में क्या करेंगे? पेशेंट को हॉस्पिटल में रखे रहेंगे।
Rourkela's transport business has been hit hard by demonetization, affecting the earnings of a large group of people, especially the daily wage earners. Sham Sundar's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And more than a month after demonetization, the cash crunch has still not eased. Most ATMs still without cash, and the 3 days of bank holiday has not helped matters.
Ever since demonetization was announced on November 8th, there are only a few ATMs that have been dispensing cash. Now the 3 consecutive days of bank holiday has dried up even the few that had some cash.
3 दिन से तो ATM में कैश ही नहीं है, आज चौथा दिन है, अब आज भी छुट्टी है तो फिर कल तक डिपेंड रहेंगे, तो स्थिति थोड़ी दयनीय है, देखते हैं अब कब तक सुधरती है।
और कुछ अगर कुछ ट्रांजैक्शन करने हो या कुछ वो भी नहीं हो रहा है, पेट्रोल के लिए वांदे हो रहे, अपना अगर कुछ लेने जाओ तो उसके लिए तकलीफ हो रही है।
An ATM in Khoda village, Ghaziabad, about 50 kilometers from the national capital, has not been refilled since the announcement on November 8th.
बहुत परेशानी पूरी भरपूर, पैसे नहीं मिलते हैं, ATM में पैसे पड़े ही नहीं हैं। 8 तारीख से 8 तारीख को शाम को डिक्लेयर किया 8 बजे, 9 तारीख के बाद इसमें पैसे पड़े ही नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं। ऐसे ही काम चला रहे धीरे धीरे, जहाँ 2 रुपये खर्चा हो 50 पैसे खर्चा कर रहे हैं, उधार ले रहे, किसी से मिल जाते हैं, कभी कभार नहीं मिलते, भूखे सो जाते हैं।
ये पेटीएम वगैरह इसके बारे में भी हमें जानकारी नहीं है अभी, लेकिन अगर कोई आता है तो हम उससे मना कर देते हैं क्योंकि हमें इसके बारे में जानकारी नहीं है। अब सभी लोग एक आधा आता है, सभी लोग को इसकी जानकारी नहीं है, कैसे यूज़ करते हैं इसे कैसे नहीं, तो हम मना कर देते हैं।
Around 90% of the ATMs across the country have no cash, and with the banks remaining closed till Monday, there's a little hope of a breather even on Tuesday. The other problem is procuring change for a 2,000 rupee note, forcing small traders and businesses to lose up to 60% of their earnings.
How can common man survive with this kind of things? See, we need 100 rupee notes or at least 500 rupee notes, but unfortunately we are not getting it. I think last few days were holidays. The banks should arrange money as soon as possible, I think.
The severe currency crunch is fueling anger as most people are unable to withdraw their own salaries. With the bank holiday, the wait for notes has only increased. With inputs from Anu Diwan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, in a major crackdown across the country over the note ban, an official of a private bank was sentenced 3 days of custody of Enforcement Directorate by a Delhi court, which also remanded another officer to judicial custody for alleged irregularities in conversion of old currency and supply of new notes. Duty Magistrate Shilpi Jain extended the ED custody of suspended branch manager of Axis Bank, Vineet Gupta, by 3 days after the agency submitted that he was not cooperating in the probe. In Ambala, Railway Police had recovered 4.49 lakh rupees, including more than half the amount in new 2,000 rupee denomination notes from 2 persons at the Ambala Cant railway station. The Railway Police has also informed the matter to the Income Tax Department. Meanwhile, in Assam, police raided a local businessman's house in Guwahati and seized about 1.55 crore rupees in new 2,000 and 500 currency notes. According to the police, a CID team acting off a tip-off seized the money from the house of Hardi Singh Bedi, who owns a hotel and a bar and runs a shop rental business in the city. The police have handed over the case to the Income Tax Department for further investigation. The IT department sleuths on Monday also seizing a huge amount of cash in 2,000 denomination notes from a hotel in Mumbai-Agra highway in Nasik and detained 2 persons in this connection. IT officials did not provide any information on the total amount seized, but it is suspected that the new currency notes were brought for exchanging them against the scrapped currencies of 500 and 1,000 rupee notes. Now to other news, and Tata Consultancy Services will hold its extraordinary general meeting today to dislodge former chairman Cyrus Mistry from its board. The move comes a month after Mistry was replaced by Ishaq Hussain as the chairman of the software services firm. Tata Sons exercised its power under Article 90 of TCS Articles of Association to nominate a chairman. Now, Tata Sons owns more than 70% of TCS's stock and has the right to nominate the chairman. Tata Sons also has a similar power in the case of Tata Power. The board of Tata Power will hold an extraordinary general meeting on the 26th of December to consider the removal of its chairman Cyrus Mistry as the director of the company. Mistry was removed as director of Tata Industries on Monday following a shareholders' vote. With a quick break, up next, international news. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's get you international news. And former Portuguese Prime Minister Antonio Guterres was sworn in on Monday as the 9th United Nations Secretary General. Guterres, who takes over from Ban Ki-moon on the 1st of January 2017, pledged to reposition development at the center of the organization's work and ensure that the UN can change to effectively meet the challenges facing the international community.
Former Portuguese Prime Minister Antonio Guterres took the oath of office on Monday to be the 9th United Nations Secretary General, pledging to personally help broker peace in various conflicts and reform the 71-year-old world body to become more effective.
Time for leaders to listen and show that they care about their own people and about the global stability and solidarity on which we all depend. And it's time for the United Nations to do the same, to recognize its shortcomings and to reform the way it works.
The 67-year-old said one of his top priorities is to reconstruct the trust between governments and their people.
Fear is driving the decisions of many people around the world. And we must understand their anxieties and meet their needs without losing sight of our universal values. It is time to reconstruct relations between people and leaders, national and international.
Guterres plans to bring reforms in the world body, beginning with gender parity within the United Nations.
And so, in the appointments I'll be making, and the first ones will be announced soon, you will see that gender parity will become a clear priority from top to bottom in the UN, and it will have to be respected by all.
Guterres will replace 72-year-old Ban Ki-moon on January 1st, 2017, who will step down after serving 2 5-year terms.
Even as I prepare to leave, my heart will stay, as it has since I was a child, right here with the United Nations. And that heart is greatly comforted knowing that I'm passing the the baton to Secretary General Antonio Guterres, a man of integrity and principle.
The former Portugal Prime Minister, who beat out 12 other candidates for the post, was also UN High Commissioner for Refugees from 2005 to 2015. He is also the first former head of government to be elected to run the world body. Diplomats are now watching to see who Guterres appoints to senior UN positions amid speculation that China and Russia are both keen on senior roles. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, signed an emergency decree ordering the country's largest banknote, the 100 Bolivar bill, taken out of circulation. The move was to thwart mafias he accused of hoarding cash in Colombia. The announcement came as the government of Venezuela, a country in the midst of an economic crisis and crippled with the world's highest inflation, prepares to issue new banknotes and coins in values up to 200 times the highest denomination currency available. The president made this announcement on his TV show. He said that the move was necessary after a Venezuelan investigation found that billions of bolivars in bills of 100 were stashed away by international mafias, mainly in Colombian cities, but also in Brazil. Maduro also ordered all land, air and sea possibilities closed immediately so that they do not return these notes that were taken. In the U.S. now, senior Republican senators in the Congress have said on Monday that they will support further investigation of findings that Russian hackers meddled in the U.S. election. House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said any foreign intervention in the polls was unacceptable. The senator also calls for bipartisan cooperation on investigations into the alleged hacking episode. President-elect Donald Trump has repeatedly poured scorn on the claims made by U.S. intelligence. The CIA concluded on the 9th of December that Russia's motive was to help Donald Trump. White House also supported the congressional reviews of the Russian interference into the U.S. election. White House spokesperson Josh Earnest said that U.S. intelligence agencies have been cooperating closely with one another and with lawmakers from both the parties.
Any foreign breach of our cybersecurity measures is disturbing, and I strongly condemn any such efforts. Prior to the election, the Director of National Intelligence released a statement saying that the Russian government directed the recent compromises of emails from U.S. persons and institutions, including from U.S. political organizations. I agree with Senator Schumer, Chairman McCain, Burr, and others. This simply cannot be a partisan issue.
We certainly have long supported the principle of congressional review of this matter. There has been intensive cooperation between the intelligence community and other national security agencies and members of Congress in both parties, both before and after the election.
And here's a look at what else is making news across the world in World Wrap. IMF chief Christine Lagarde was in a Paris court for the start of a trial for negligence over a state payout to a tycoon maid while she was French finance minister. Lagarde listened to the start of the proceedings at the Court of Justice of the Republic, a special tribunal used to try for ministers, where her defense team is expected to ask for an adjournment. Oil prices soared to their highest level since July 2015 on Monday after a handful of additional countries agreed to production cuts. Brent crude rose 3.7% a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate jumped 4% a barrel. Over the weekend, 11 oil producers agreed to join the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, and cut production by 558,000 barrels a day. At least 34 civilians, including 11 children, were killed in a series of airstrikes on villages held by the Islamic State group in central Syria. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said a barrage of air raids hit Rabat and other nearby villages in the central province of Hama. Rabat lies northwest of Palmyra, the ancient desert city that was recaptured by IS this weekend. China faced a grim scenario in Hong Kong as pro-democracy groups have made record gains in polls for election committee, which will elect the former British territory's next chief executive. The new chief executive may have to toe a balanced line to address the growing anti-Beijing resentment. Amid a high turnout, the pro-democracy group have won 362 of the 733 seats, while the pro-Beijing group still have a big majority. All right, sports now. An ace Indian QS, Pankaj Advani, has won his 11th World Billiards Championship title. In the summit clash in Bengaluru, Advani defeated Peter Gilchrist of Singapore. The Indian beat multiple world champion Gilchrist by 6 games to 3 in a gripping final contest to wrap up his 16th world title overall. Earlier in the semi-finals, Advani overcame Myanmar's Ong Tae 5-0, while Gilchrist defeated India's Dhwaj Haria 5-1. And the good news for India continues, with India defeating South Africa by 2-1 to enter the quarterfinals of the World Junior Hockey World Cup at the Major Dhyanchand AstroTurf Stadium in Lucknow on Monday. India has finished the pool engagements with possible 9 points from 3 wins and will now face second-place team in Pool C, Spain, in the quarterfinals on Thursday. India scored a goal each in both halves through skipper Harjeet Singh and Mandeep Singh to win a tight contest. Earlier, India defeated Canada 4-0 and England 5-3. The last pool matches were played in which Australia defeated Austria by 4-2, Argentina won playing South Korea by 5-2, and Belgium defeated Malaysia by 3-0. And here's some more sporting action in Sports Beat. AB de Villiers has decided to step down from South Africa's Test captaincy with immediate effect. Faf du Plessis has been confirmed by the Cricket South Africa as his replacement. De Villiers was appointed the captain in January following Hashim Amla's resignation. He led the Proteas in 2 Test matches against England before injury forced him to miss the series against New Zealand and Australia. Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo was named the world's best footballer of 2016 after he won the Ballon d'Or award on Monday. In fact, Ronaldo led Portugal to their maiden Euro triumph and also helped Real Madrid win the Champions League this year. Ronaldo, who has won the award 4 times, is second on the all-time winners list behind Argentina's Lionel Messi. English Premier League side Arsenal will face German defending champions Bayern Munich at the Champions League round of 16 after the draw was made on Monday. Defending European champions Real Madrid will face Italian side Napoli, while Barcelona will face Paris Saint-Germain. PL defending champions Leicester City were drawn against Sevilla in the knockout stages, which begin from the 14th of February. And finally, back home, after a prolonged dry spell, North Kashmir's Gulmarg received the first snowfall of the season, bringing the much-awaited relief to the tourism sector in the state. We end the show now with pictures of snow-capped Gulmarg. Have a nice day.